While I understand what I'm about to say is going to sound corny, I'm speaking from the heart. Being a part of the synagogue and our incredible community has been one of the most important things that has impacted my life. From a young age, Community Synagogue emphasized the importance of tzedakah and how I would have the power to make a change in the world. We participated in many volunteer activities such as the midnight run, sorting clothes at the sharing shelf, or working in a soup kitchen on a trip to Philadelphia, which sparked my interest in making a difference in my community. These beginning experiences were essential to beginning my understanding of how I could create impact and prepare me for the experiences that would be even more impactful during high school. And more importantly, these are moments that shaped me that we all shared together. The first time I felt a true sense of accomplishing impact was when my peers and I started the self-sustaining charity organization Jews Seek Tzedek. We designed this program so that teens learn about global issues and how to address concern that they care about. The year we created the program, we interviewed candidates applying for the grant and ultimately decided that the women of Myanmar would be the recipient of the money we had raised through our fundraising campaign. Creating Jews Seek Tzedek was my first important step towards striving for a better world and also made me passionate about worldly issues I had previously been unaware of. I knew that together we could make the world better. I next had the opportunity of attending the Religious Action Center's lobbying trip during sophomore year. I loved learning about the different topics that I could potentially lobby for. When it came time to choose a topic to lobby Congress, I chose mandatory minimums. I chose to lobby my Congresswoman Nita Lowy, who was not there. However, her staff assistant was, who took notes on our points to share with Lowy. I spoke about mandatory minimums, why they needed to be changed, why they were unfairly targeting people of color, and how it was the right thing to do to give a person charged with a nonviolent crime a second chance, as giving others second chances was encouraged in the Torah. When I finished my statement alongside Rachel Rubin, I noticed that Lowy's staff assistant was wiping tears from his eyes. I could not believe that I had affected someone so much with what I had to say. I felt so incredible, and it was an aha moment that I had to keep using my voice to impact others. I will remember that moment forever, and I even chose to write about it for my college essay. I was so excited to further my goal of mobilizing others to make change when I heard about the opportunity of traveling to Alabama. Alongside Cantor Cooperman, Elijah Groper, and members of other surrounding synagogues, I was able to personally meet those who participated in this earth-shattering movement. To say I was inspired is an understatement. I started with going to the Rosa Parks Museum in Montgomery, which is where I truly got a sense of what her arrest and bravery meant for the civil rights movement. I next traveled to Birmingham, where at the civil rights movement, it really furthered that the injustices faced could not be justified. I was not only saddened but angry that the country had allowed this to happen. It was here where I truly understood that we have the power to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. After the museum, I had the privilege of hearing Bishop Woods tell his story about how he overcame the hatred and abuse he endured during the civil rights movement. What really struck me was that while he was telling my group about his story, people were preparing to protest the current events of the election. It almost seemed like in those moments, history was really repeating itself. I was also able to meet Joanne, a victim of Bloody Sunday, when we traveled to Selma. She told us her story growing up during the civil rights movement. She had many horrifying stories of the violence she witnessed firsthand, both as a bystander and to the people she loved. Listening to Joanne tell her story, I felt extremely angry, which is why what Joanne next told us was so impactful to me. Joanne told us that if we wanted to make a change, you have to believe that you are the most important piece of a puzzle. If a puzzle is missing even one piece, it is incomplete, so you have to make change believing that you are that final piece that the puzzle needs to be completed. This really resonated with me. This was at the end of the trip, but I knew that I was only just beginning a journey where I would initiate change. Maybe I will be that final piece to the puzzle. We were able to visit the Equal Justice Initiative while on this trip, an organization actively trying to fix injustices today that we learned still exist while on this trip. I know most people here would probably agree that racism is still prevalent today, but I believe that most people do not understand its extent, a lesson which screamed out to me. I was inspired by the actions that the Equal Justice Initiative was taking to fix this, but I realized that I too wanted to participate. While the University of Alabama was on my radar prior to attending this trip, realizing that I would be so close to organizations like the Equal Justice Initiative and the Southern Poverty Law Center where I would be able to have boots on the ground to make a difference in social justice, cannot be explained other than feeling like the stars had aligned. Had I not attended this trip, where I realized the opportunities I would be able to have being in the area, I would likely be attending somewhere other than Alabama. I will forever be grateful for especially this opportunity that the synagogue gave me that led me to the college that I know I was meant to go to. This trip intensely voiced the injustice of the current political situation and fueled my passion for justice. The lessons I learned from people of the past and how they dealt with their issues still hold true and motivate me. I know that the fight for justice will be long and difficult, but I am hopeful to make a difference while continuing to fight. I am confident that through the experiences and lessons that I have learned through the synagogue, I will be able to utilize my college experience at Alabama to help improve the lives of others for years to come.